Episode 56 QC, February 2nd, 2024. Would smoke death tolls capture attention? Concern should be near neighbor-centric. In Episode 56 QC 1, RAWSEP on similarities of cigarette and alcohol use and indoor residential wood burning. 2. Incentives for switch from wood burning to heat pumps in San Luis Obispo, California. 3. Friends of the Earth want more small monitors in Oxford, United Kingdom. 4. Death toll in Australia alerts citizens to dangers of wood burning. 5. New wood burning rules in Nottingham, United Kingdom. 6. Headlines. 1. RAWSEP on similarities of cigarette and alcohol use and indoor residential wood burning. RAWSEP View. Would smoke death tolls capture attention, but concern should be near neighbor-centric. It is still usually a personal choice, not a mandate, to stop wood burning for home heating. Some indoor air pollution studies are concerned with the effects of wood burning for home heating on the inhabitants of the home where wood burning takes place, a study in Manchester, United Kingdom, at the end of this episode. Rather than concerned with the level of PM 2.5 in the ambient air of near neighbors of indoor wood burners. Wood burning is done by the more affluent for ambience, many rigorous studies are finding. The indigent who have no alternatives to wood burning home heating are outnumbered by the affluent who burn wood for ambience. Persuading the affluent who burn wood for ambience is now a delicate, soliticious balance of obsequiousness and incentives. Do we do this for drunk drivers who like the feel of the wind in their hair when breaking the speed limits and predictably enjoy thinking sorry sucker or eat my dust in a pleasant at the time? Drunken haze as they threaten the lives of pedestrians and other drivers who are trying to drive safely. Drivers whose only mistake was being in the wrong place, an ordinary roadway, at the wrong time, when a drunk driver is driving. RAWSEP's editor was recently solemnly reminded by a sympathetic relative of a wood burner that wood burning is done because the feeling of wood burning for home heating is toasty. The serviceable, secure, and clean central heating feeling of using heat pumps was compared to the toasted feeling of sitting by a wood fire, and in toastiness, heat pumps were judged sorely lacking, RAWSEP's editor was told. Luckily for RAWSEP's editor's health, she has never been attracted to the feeling of sitting close enough to a fire in order to warm herself, because being toasted on one side at a temperature that is dangerously variable and usually a higher temperature than needed within necessary close proximity to the wood fire never appealed to her. The result of sitting close to a wood fire is the uneven feeling of being toasted on one side and freezing on the other side of the body. It is hard for RAWSEP's editor to understand that the physical act of sitting next to a wood fire, depending on it to warm you, and then only being toasted on one side and freezing on the other is satisfactory for even a brief time, let alone a whole winter. So the drunk driver can be excused for driving drunk because the wind in the hair and the impulse to silently scream sorry sucker or eat my dust. When driving drunk is a feeling that can't be replicated with any other action than to down shots and hit the road. So the indoor residential wood burner can be excused for burning wood because the toastiness on one side and the freezing on the other side is so dramatic that it can't be replicated by any other action than to burn wood. If instead the concern is shifted to the near neighbor of the indoor residential wood burner whose wood smoke enters the yard of the near neighbor and sickens them, then in solving the problem of the PM 2.5 threat to the near neighbor's health, another problem, bigger than even the concerns of the near neighbor, can also be mitigated, the problem of climate change. Get out of the head of the wood burner for 1 minute and think of others, the near neighbor first, and then you might start thinking about the benefit to society of stopping wood burning. Collaterally, stopping wood burning will also improve the health outlook for the wood burner him or herself. A PM 2.5 monitor, such as those used by Friends of the Earth in Oxford, in the United Kingdom, can be hung from the eaves of the home of a near neighbor of an indoor residential wood burner. That low cost, under $300, monitor collects data and publishes it on the Purple Air map every 3 days. That data can be downloaded as a CSV file and analyzed using RAWSEP Excel templates on the website https://rawsepresidents.com at the county snapshot or coast-to-coast tabs for multiple. For instance, for a network of 50 monitors auto-calculating PM 2.5 average over 3 day and auto-calculating percent above 12, percent above 25, percent above 35, percent above 45, percent above 55, percent above 65, and percent above 75 micrograms per cubic meter in a 3-day period. RAWSEP's editor was startled to learn that proximity to indoor residential wood burning brings PM 2.5 levels above 75 routinely, when the Environmental Protection Agency safe. Level of PM 2.5 is currently 12 annually and 35 in a 24-hour period in micrograms per cubic meter, according to National Ambient Air Quality Standards, NOx. So the near neighbor lives in a sealed home with multiple air purifiers running, the advice given to millions of Americans in June 2023 when Canadian wildfire, wood-burning, smoke invaded the United States. Wood smoke is 90% PM 2.5, particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Wood burning emits 2.8 times the carbon dioxide, CO2, and PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning. Wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. If wood burning plants replace coal burning, we are closer to climate change rather than moving farther away from climate change. Cigarette smoking and alcohol drinking are physically addictive to the user. Secondhand smoke from cigarette smoking has led to workplaces and many public gathering places being declared cigarette smoke-free. Wood burning is not physically addictive to the wood burner, so it is simple for a wood burner to stop wood burning. Monetary incentives for switching from wood burning are available to indigent wood burners who have no alternative method of home heating. That switch could be the happy ending to this story. Or wood burners could, like an affluent dream scenario of cigarette ads, rather fight than switch. 2. Incentives for switch from wood burning to heat pumps in San Luis Obispo, California. California, San Luis Obispo. RAWSEP View. Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, hope that the vast majority of wood burners who switch in San Luis Obispo, California, will switch to heat pumps. RAWSEP believes there are not cleaner burning wood stoves. Wood stoves emit 450 times the PM 2.5 as natural gas furnaces and emit 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as fossil fuel coal burning. Incentives for wood burners to switch to heat pumps in California. California, San Luis Obispo. San Luis Obispo County low-income residents could get up to $10,000 for switching to KYD clean home heating devices rather than older, inefficient wood-burning fireplaces and stoves as a primary source of heat. Smoke from burning wood contains major air pollutants including PM 2.5. To reduce air emissions and the negative impact on people's health from the particulate matter, eligible low-income applicants are given priority until April 12, 2024. Low-income applicants could receive enhanced incentives up to $10,000 to switch from an old fireplace or qualifying wood stove to an electric heat pump. This is in addition to the up to $8,000 nationwide federal rebate for heat pumps in 2024, or, in RAWSEP's view, a sad bargain which continues with burning PM 2.5 pollution. Up to $5,000 to switch to a cleaner burning wood stove or electric stove. 3. Friends of the Earth want more small monitors in Oxford, United Kingdom. RAWSEP View. From the article below, several pollution hotspots across the city are being missed by official monitors, according to environmental group Oxford Friends of the Earth. The group analyzed 2 years of data recorded by a network of 26 particulate monitors it placed around the city, funded by volunteers and supported by the City Council. Previously, particulates were only measured by Oxford City Council using 2 large monitors in St. Ebbe's and the High Street. United Kingdom, Oxford. OxFE Friends of the Earth. Oxford environmentalists say monitors miss air pollution. This is Oxfordshire wood burning, which is why it plans to expand current smoke control area legislation. We have worked actively with schools in the past. The group said the council's monitors also demonstrated a link between air particulate pollution and domestic wood burning. Both show that pollution. United Kingdom, Oxford. Air pollution in Oxford linked to wood burning stoves. Oxford Mail. Wood burners. There is also central heating. But there is too little awareness of the health risks of wood burning. Even certified stoves can be. 2 of these purple air monitors were located next to the large council monitors. The OxFOE said data collected by its monitors show significant. Christchurch of Oxford FOE said, Oxford still has problems with air pollution. Particulate pollution is one part of this, and it is mainly linked to wood burners. There is also central heating. But there is too little awareness of the health risks of wood burning. Even certified stoves can be polluting. 4. Death toll in Australia alerts citizens to dangers of wood burning. Death toll. Australia. Curtin University. January 31, 2024. Death toll shows extreme air pollution event a growing urban threat. Science Daily Australia. The toll of extreme air pollution events in Australian cities. Air quality news. Furthermore, their results suggest that nearly a third of these deaths would be prevented with just a 5% reduction in PM 2.5 levels on days with. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against with Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Summary. New Curtin University. Research has estimated that 1,454 avoidable deaths, one person every 5 days, occurred in Australian capital cities in the past 20 years because of fine particle air pollution from extreme events such as bushfires and dust storms, wood heater smoke, or industrial accidents. One-third of deaths from extreme air pollution exposure days could be prevented if pollution events were reduced by as little as 5%. Using data from 2001 to 2020 from air pollution monitoring sites, combined with a range of satellite and land use-related data, we modeled the exposure to exceptional levels of particulate matter air pollution, PM 2.5, for each extreme pollution exposure day, the lead researcher said. Despite relatively low daily PM 2.5 levels generally, compared to global averages, Australian cities experience days with extreme pollution levels where PM 2.5 concentrations exceed the WHO air quality guideline standard. Sydney and Melbourne reported the highest number of deaths attributable to extreme air pollution events, with 541 and 438 deaths respectively, followed by Brisbane and Perth with 171 and 132 deaths. Adelaide and Hobart were the cities that showed, across the 20-year period, fewer days exceeding WHO air quality exposure recommendations, with Adelaide recording only 5 days and Hobart 11 days above the threshold. Darwin, despite its relatively low number of deaths due to PM 2.5 exposure events, experienced a high number of days exceeding WHO recommendations, 10 times more than cities like Melbourne. The lead researcher said the findings show how extreme air pollution events could seriously affect health in urban areas, and understanding this link was crucial, as climate change may increase the frequency and intensity of such pollution events. Diseases associated with particulate matter air pollution include asthma and COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, as well as cardiovascular disorders, the lead researcher said. Our study's insights can aid in protecting public health by helping to inform policy development and actions to reduce impacts from extreme air pollution events. Materials provided by Curtin University. The research paper. Lucas Herzog, Jeffrey G. Morgan, Cassandra Ewan, Karthik Gopi, Gavin F. Pereira, Faye H. Johnston, Martin Cope, Timothy B. Chaston, Adifio Vyas, Sotiris Vardalakis, Ivan C. Hannigan. Mortality burden attributable to exceptional PM 2.5 air pollution events in Australian cities. A health impact assessment. Helion, 2024. 10-2E24532 DOI. 10.1016/J5, New wood burning rules in Nottingham, United Kingdom. RAWSEP View. The fallacy that dry wood produces a tolerable level of air pollution from wood burning is repeated in this article. Part of Nottinghamshire could get new wood burner rules and bid to cut pollution. Nottinghamshire live. A black wood burner being used. A fire burns within the burner. There are worries about the amount of pollution wood burners cost. In a smoke control area, it is an offense to emit smoke from the chimney of a building, whether it is a home or business. Correctly season wood. 6. Headlines. PM 2.5 and data. Handling gaps in time series. Missingness analysis and evaluation. Towards data science dataset description. The data holds 1-hour average measurements of fine particulate matter PM 2.5, fine particles with diameters of 2.5 microns. PM 2.5 and myocardial infarction incidents. Ambient air pollutants associated with myocardial infarction incidents. The cardiology advisor. The 4 ambient air pollutants included in the study were the following. Particulate matter with an aerodynamic diameter of no more than 2.5 micrometers. PM 2.5, PM 2.5, and respiratory diseases. Short-term exposure to extreme temperature and outpatient visits for respiratory diseases. BMC Public Health, Biomed Central. The daily average of meteorological factors. PM 2.5 were calculated by taking the 24-hour average monitoring records from all. World Health Organization and PM 2.5 GM beats Wall Street estimates. Forecasts continued strong profit in 2024. Watch. MSN, the World Health Organization, puts the safe level of PM 2.5 at 5 micrograms per cubic meter of air, but in the Thai capital, the levels have. United States, California, Ontario. Millions of alcohol wipes go up in flames in Ontario, San Bernardino Sunday. A fire in a pile of millions of antibacterial cloths burned for hours in Ontario on Wednesday, January. Wood-burning ban in effect Monday for much of California, Walnut Creek. Restaurant fire in Walnut Creek contained bounty hunter, Cron 4, Cron. Firefighters have contained a fire at a restaurant in Walnut Creek Wednesday afternoon to a wood-burning stove flue, according to Contra. Fire contained at Walnut Creek Restaurant. Patch. The fire was contained by 2:07 p.m. to the wood-burning stove flue chimney, and no injuries were reported. Crews remained at the scene of the Minnesota, St. Paul. Fire at encampment near Bruce Vinto Nature Sanctuary in St. Paul spreads to several tents. Pioneer Press. A wood-burning stove, a propane heater, and propane tanks were found inside tents. United Kingdom, Manchester. RAWSEP View. Non-ideal PM 2.5 effect inside wood-burners' homes. Better to study the ambient air that enters near neighbors' yards and sickens them. Simple PM 2.5 monitoring by purple air monitors handing from the house eaves of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. Wood stove stacks shunt PM 2.5 AAE from wood burners and into the yards of near neighbors, sickening the near neighbors. Major research begins into non-ideal operation of wood burners. Air Quality News researchers have started a 6-week study to measure emissions from domestic wood-burning stoves, using a dedicated laboratory-based test facility. Scientists are using a state-of-the-art test facility in a Manchester-based laboratory to study emissions from domestic heating stoves. By using a wood burner in a controlled environment alongside specialized pollution monitoring equipment, researchers are replicating a range of conditions and real-life scenarios. Our laboratory experiments will investigate the effects of gas emissions that condense in the air and form particulate matter after they are emitted. United Kingdom, Manchester. Scientists measure air pollution from domestic wood burners in new study. The National Tribune. Researchers have started a 6-week study to measure airborne pollutant emissions from domestic wood-burning stoves, using a dedicated. United Kingdom, Manchester. Scientists measure air pollution from domestic wood burners in new study. The University of Manchester. Researchers have started a 6-week study to measure airborne pollutant emissions from domestic wood-burning stoves, using a dedicated. In the UK, wood burning in homes is the main direct source of airborne particulate matter less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter, known as PM 2.5. India, Delhi. Delhi battled with severe air pollution on most days in January. CBCBweather.com at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium Station in the last 24 hours. The average AQI was recorded in severe levels with PM 2.5 at 405. Nepal, Kathmandu. Kathmandu ranks 7th among world's most polluted cities, My Republic and Nagaric Network. Valley pollution levels. The graph above is based on the pollutant of fine particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM less than 2.5 microns, of Kathmandu. Thailand. Thailand's PM 2.5 issue discussed at International Conference Thai PBS World. Professor Prapat Pongkiakul, head of Environmental Engineering Department, CMUT, spoke of the PM 2.5 situation in Bangkok and the metropolitan